The avocado you're looking at is about 30 days old, yet it still looks about as ripe as the day it was picked. The source of the magic? It has been treated with a new tasteless edible coating called Apeel, an invisible shield promising to double the lifespan of your fruits. But is there a catch?
Apeel sciences, you may remember them. They take left behind plant materials like leaves or peels and blends. They make them into a kind of shield that you spray on fruits and vegetables. It keeps them from going bad.
Founded in 2012, Apeel is a family of plant-derived coating that is applied to keep produce fresher for longer. The company's Food Gone Good mission aims to tackle global hunger and help mitigate climate change by saving water, increasing the shelf life of produce, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. In the past few years, the company's valuation has skyrocketed, and produce coated with Apeel can now be found in grocery stores nationwide as well as internationally.
Monks figured out in the Middle Ages that you could put beeswax on an apple and it would last a little bit longer. But if you go into a store today and you get an organic apple, it's still got beeswax. And so Apeel comes in and says, you know what, let's use food to solve this problem in a way that dramatically reduces waste.
Using food to reduce food waste sounds like quite the scientific innovation, but some in the healthy eating community are beginning to ask questions and voice concerns that I think warrant our collective attention.
Did you ever think that your produce would have an ingredient list?
Kristen Dornick is a cookbook author and founder of Kristen's Kitchen, a food blog that promotes eating real food. I recently spoke with her to better understand the controversy surrounding Apeel's new innovative coating.
So Apeel is a plant-based coating, and it's used on produce to keep it fresher for longer. But there's a lot of questions about what it's made of. Based
on the company's website, Apeel is made of mono and diglycerides, which they say are naturally occurring in all fruits and vegetables, and that this ingredient has a long history of safe consumption and has been verified by regulatory authorities around the world. But once you dig a little deeper, I found the answer to be a bit more opaque and a bit more complicated. First off, mono and diglycerides, sometimes referred to as monoacrylglycerides, are plant-based in the sense that it is extracted from grapeseed through heavy industrial processing at high temperatures, somewhat analogous to the process to extrude seed oils commonly found in ultra-processed foods, which serve as emulsifiers or preservatives to enhance texture, stability, and shelf life of food products. Such substances are considered by the FDA to be generally recognized as safe, or GRAS. What most people don't know maybe is that GRAS certified ingredients means that the companies themselves are self-certifying the safety of the substances through their own hired experts and their own trials and submitting a GRAS notification to the FDA, and 99% of the time, the company's claims are not independently verified by the FDA. It's what's known as a loophole. And if we look closely at Apeel's GRAS notice submission to the FDA, the industrial process they use to extract monoacrylglycerides from grapeseed leaves residue of processing aid residuals such as ethyl acetate and heptane, along with heavy metals like palladium, arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. A recent European Food Safety Authority review of monoacrylglycerides, E471, concluded that while there is no reason for a safety concern, they also warned that the potential exposure to toxic elements resulting from the consumption of E471 could be substantial, and the need to lower the current maximum limits for arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. It does sound like a lot of scary chemicals that we probably don't want in our food, no?
This is something that is eventually going to be put on all produce. You're not just getting exposed to a little bit here and there, you're getting exposed to a lot. You know, it's on organic produce too.
In a now deleted Instagram post, Apeel co-founder Jenny Du defended her company's use of chemicals.
Everything around us is chemicals. You and I are all made of chemicals. In fact, even more amazingly, we are all made of star stuff.
Cool. The star stuff that she's referring to, once again, based on her own company's registration with the EPA, is classified as a pesticide. That's right, Organapeel, which is Apeel's organic formulation that the company uses to coat organic produce, comes with a massive warning label and considered to be a hazard to humans and domestic animals. On top of that, the EPA registration raises even more questions about the ingredient list, as it lists the active ingredient as citric acid at 0.66% and other ingredients at 99.34%. But putting aside ingredients and chemicals for a second, are there other health implications if all of our produce is coated with Apeel?
How do you know when that apple was picked? Was it picked 3 days ago or was it picked 30 days ago? You can't tell because the outside it still looks pretty good because of that coating.
Because Apeel's barrier coating halts the visual decay of fruits and vegetables, the next question consumers have been asking is, does it lock in the nutrients too? It has been well documented that most produce loses 30% of nutrients 3 days after harvest. In fact, University of California studies show that vegetables can lose 15 to 55% of vitamin C, for instance, within a week. Now, I know we've just covered a whole lot of claims about Apeel, from chemicals to nutrients, which beyond mainstream fact checkers like those from the Associated Press, reiterating that the FDA considers Apeel's coating to be safe for human consumption, and correcting a post that erroneously confused Apeel's coating with a cleaning solution with the same name, Apeel themselves have not really publicly addressed much in terms of these claims and concerns until now. I had the opportunity to sit down with Apeel's co-founder Jenny Du and the company's VP of Marketing Lauren Sweeney to try to get to the bottom of some of these concerns we've just covered. The mystery ingredients of Apeel's organic formulation, the 99.34% other, they say is just purified mono and diglycerides, which is the same ingredient in their non-organic formulation, along with food-grade sodium bicarbonate. In regards to the publicly available GRAS submission and other patent submissions that we've referenced in this piece, the company states that they, quote, do not represent our current manufacturing processes. Neither heptane nor ethyl acetate are used in our manufacturing process, and heavy metals are also not intentionally added to the product. In a follow-up email, Ms. Sweeney reiterated that, quote, with almost a century of safe use as a food additive, rigorous purity and safety standards, and low levels of exposure or consumption, it is very unlikely that there would be any long-term health hazard related to the consumption of our product on produce. They also revealed that in order to comply with the new EU standards reflective of the notes in the EFSA study that we referenced earlier, the company has, quote, already conducted testing on finished formulations that show we are already conforming to those forthcoming revised specifications. Ms. Du and Ms. Sweeney also shared that in addition to protecting produce against visual decay, Apeel also locks in nutrients better than produce without their coating. When comparing, for example, Apeel's protected blueberries with unprotected blueberries, all of which were harvested at the same time and from the same lot, Apeel protected blueberries maintain higher vitamin C levels and over a longer period of time. And there you have it. I obviously can't tell you who to believe, but I do want to say that I'm very grateful that Apeel's senior leadership has made the decision to actively participate in this discourse, and I hope they continue to do so going forward. Now, moving away from the science for a second, let's talk money, because I don't think we can ignore Apeel's appeal.
I think Apeel's got a bright future. No wonder they were able to raise $250 million last month at $1 billion+ valuation.
That's right. Apeel has attracted a number of high-profile investors, including celebrities Katy Perry and Oprah Winfrey. Other investors listed on the company's website include the who's who of venture capital, as well as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the latter of which has been on a spending tear, tens of billions of dollars over the past decade, in what some would describe as a coordinated plan to consolidate control over the world's food supply. Now, how does Apeel fit into this equation, or does it fit at all? Just something to think about. Apeel has also been recognized as a World Economic Forum technology pioneer and is a part of the World Economic Forum Global Innovators community. The company's CEO and co-founder James Rogers is also a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. Conspiratorial insinuations aside, it is, at the very least, I think, concerning the direction of where our food system is going, which is, I think, in a direction that seemingly favors a shift from localized community-level farming to top-down globalized industrial farming, where the food supply necessarily becomes more centrally controlled and further removed from the communities that consume it. This is just my personal opinion, but without an active mission to empower local farmers and dismantle a food system that has been financialized to the degree that we as consumers have no idea, or almost no idea, where our food is coming from or what's in it, it would be difficult to see how Apeel in its current incarnation would be able to do much more than co-opt what I think are legitimate concerns like climate change and food insecurity as a means to make its investors a little bit richer. But alas, regardless of where your personal thoughts lie, whether you think a product like Apeel is a positive game changer, a part of a noble effort to end global hunger or battle climate change, or if it encapsulates everything that's gone wrong with our food system in the last half century, I hope this segment brings about more discussion and more discourse in the importance of food and the need to advocate for a food system that is truly designed for the people. That's it for me this week. Please comment below, share your thoughts about Apeel and about our food system. If you found this segment to be helpful, you can support my work by going over and subscribing to my YouTube channel, 5149 with James Lee. The link will be in the description below. Your support would mean a lot to me. Of course, keep on tuning into Breaking Points, and thank you so much for your time today.